Tyler Hoechlin. Welcome to General Meeting with Becky Sloviter.
Thank you, Becky.
I am so thrilled that you are here.
I am so excited to be here. And I'm going to say this first. I'm so proud of you. And I don't say this facetiously or anything.
No, I
I'm
know.
so proud of you. We've had so many talks, just in general, just in life and everything.
I know.
It's so ballsy of you to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm so stoked for you. Like, as a friend, I'm very, very happy for you. And I'm proud that you're doing this.
This is the perfect tee up. Thank you. Because I wanted to sort of set the table with, you and I are such good friends, and every conversation we have, we just like go deep, and it's hours, and it's a good meal. And that is why, and I don't think I've told you this, you are the first dude to come on to this podcast since I've launched.
Am I?
And that is by design.
Hey.
Because there was no intent for me of like, it's going to be mostly women that I'm interviewing at all.
Right.
And then it's sort of, because I was, certainly in the early stages like this, I'm really just calling upon friends and people who I feel are really interesting, and as I sort of in a cheesy way keep saying, like, contain multitudes.
Yeah.
And that we can have like a good warm conversation.
Right.
Like, that was the goal.
Yeah.
And so I really, as I was thinking about it, like that list, it's skewed female, we'll say. But my intent is to have a bunch of guys on.
Yeah.
But they need to be sort of like evolved dudes.
Fair enough.
And as I was thinking about that, I was like, who I really need to be first then on that list is you. Because you are such an interesting human. Your career has been incredible. And we're going to get to the sort of origin story of this. Yeah. Your auspicious debut in Hollywood with, no big deal, Tom Hanks and Paul Newman in The Road to Perdition. But I also, just briefly before we dive into your path, I have gotten some feedback now that this podcast is out in the world. And a lot of people have said, I just think you're not contextualizing. You're sort of assuming people know everything about everyone. And I'm like, not even using last names. But I didn't want to also like sort of stiffly read a bio.
Yeah, right.
But I think I'm going to attempt, so this is the first time I'm doing this, to, at the top of the episode, sort of just set the scene. You are an actor, you are also a producer, and you have been a part of such like enormous, splashy things, but also such cool things. Most recently, you just wrapped up a 4-year stint as none other than Superman on the CW hit show Superman and Lois. You were on Teen Wolf for many years, a show that when Teen Wolf was on, I was like at home having like picking applesauce out of my hair and like with little kids. And it was on my radar that this was like a big hit show.
Right.
But only when you and I were having lunch last year, and my assistant when I was at Miramax, Sammy, saw it in my calendar and was like, Tyler Hoechlin? And I was like, yeah, why? And she's like, oh my God, is he coming here? Like, lost her mind. Teen Wolf and the sensation that was and the fan base, and then the Superman fan base. But you started a career in such a fancy, cool way with this movie that we'll talk about in a moment. You were in Everybody Wants Some with the amazing Richard Linklater.
That was a special one.
Yes, it was. So we will get to all of these things, but I am, for all the people listening and watching, that this is who Tyler Hoechlin is in the broadest of strokes. But now we're going to dig deep. You're welcome. Hopefully that was not too like sweaty and I'm sort of tripping over it.
It was clean.
Thanks, man. Okay. So I was trying to remember. Were you born and raised in Orange County?
I was born and raised in Corona, California. Grew up for the first few years in a place called Norco. I would say it feels like more Friday Night Lights, Texas than Southern California in a way.
Totally.
A lot of sports, rodeo, dirt bikes, things like that.
I actually meant to mention this too. You also were an incredible baseball player.
I had my time.
Yes, you did. Also the most humble person you'll ever meet. Which was a really natural segue to being in Everybody Wants Some and being perfect for that. And we'll talk about that. But so you're growing up, you're an athlete, but you're also from the age of 9 getting into acting.
Yeah.
How does this come about?
The short-ish story of that is I was about 7 or 8. There was like a commercial on TV with a young child in it or something. And my parents were like, oh, you used to do that. And I said, the commercials? They said, yeah, when you were a baby, you would do the commercials. And I was like, oh. And my parents were like, my dad was an ER doc, but they were also like pursuing a business on the side and stuff. So I was around entrepreneurial things.
Yeah.
And I was like, did I get paid for that? And they said, yeah. I was like, oh man. I was like, I could do that. I could buy baseball cards and video games like whenever I wanted. So that was the initial thought. And then coincidentally or not coincidentally, there was like a letter in the mail that went out. It was like a mass mailing, kind of like a John Robert Powers kind of thing. But there's this place called Beverly Hills Actors Studio, and there's no way it's still around. And they had this like mass audition at the Ontario Convention Center.
Okay.
And they said, come out on this Saturday and, to see if you want to be an actor. So we had a baseball game that weekend, as we always did. So we're driving out to Moreno Valley, and the place that I played all my life, maybe had like 3 games get rained out there ever.
Yeah.
And the coach called and said, hey, storm came through, so like the fields are flooded and there's no games. So you guys might as well just go home. It's like, all right, well, what do we do today?
I got a convention center to get to.
Go to that acting thing at the convention center. Let's check it out.
Oh, wow.
So we went there, and then they had like 3 young actors on stage who had gone to the school and had some success and done some things. And so we listened to their stories. And then afterwards, we had to come up on stage, and there was a different script for different age groups. And I don't know how I still remember this. My brother and I both, me and my younger brother, because we both did it to start out, we both remember the script. It was like the music, the action, the Lion King. That was the first line I ever had as an actor on this stage in Ontario Convention Center.
I love that you remember this.
So we went down and met with somebody at a desk, and they're like, hey, look, they don't have stage fright. They seem to be kind of comfortable. I think they can maybe do something. So like 6 months later, the school got me on audition with an agency.
Yep.
Got my agent. So my 5th or 6th audition, I got my first little job.
So how old are you when you made, I was trying to do the math.
Yeah.
You were 13 when you made Perdition?
I was 13 when we shot Perdition, yeah.
I mean...
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
I have an almost 13-year-old, and that was the lens through which I was watching, because I rewatched it. I hadn't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking masterpiece.
Thanks.
But
I mean, it's
what
beautiful.
you have to do in that movie, and at the age you are, and not, you'd been acting a little bit, but
a couple years.
Certainly not with the caliber of scene partner.
No.
And scene partners, I should say. I mean, you got to work with the great Paul Newman in his last performance ever.
Yeah.
And how special that must have been. But just even, I'd forgotten Daniel Craig.
I know.
Like, just, there is that, the whole cast is so incredible. But what you and Tom Hanks, I mean, you are the point of view character. You are the heart and soul of that movie. You have amazing presence. And you're just like your little face. Because you still, oh my God. Oh. How rigorous was the process? How was it meeting with Sam Mendes? Like, how did it go?
So from everything I remember, no one knew who I was. This was very much still like, we were like in a bowling league with friends on our cul-de-sac. And like, they were still like getting mad at us when we would leave for an audition and be like, why are you guys doing this? Like, stupid. Nothing's ever going to happen. Like, what are you doing? And truthfully, so I'd read for a film. I want to say it was like Analyze This.
Yeah.
I think it was Analyze This.
Yeah.
And for Billy Crystal's son, and I didn't get it. And I think it was maybe the second or third like thing with like, really big name actors we had gone in for and didn't get it. And so this thing came through. And I remember having a moment like, this is stupid. Like, why are you going in for this? Like it's never going to happen, yada, yada. My brother was also an actor. This is how the audition happened. I'm just going to tell the whole story.
Please.
My brother had done a Guest Kids campaign. Uh-huh. They had seen 2,000 kids, I think, already.
Okay.
And couldn't find the kid. So he had a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard that Debbie Zane, lovely Debbie Zane.
You bet.
Debbie, the best.
Amazing.
She drove by and saw my brother's picture and was like, that kid has an interesting look. We should bring him in.
Yeah.
Find out who his agent is. It's our agent. And my agent at the time was like, hey, look, he has an older brother. You guys probably should see him as well, because he's actually done more theatrical training and things like that. They said no multiple times from what I remember. And then finally, my agent asked so many times, like, fine, just bring both of them in. I actually said, no, I'm not going to go in because,
oh my God,
going to church as a kid and things like that, I had to say goddamn in the scene 3 times.
Oh.
And I was like, not going to say it. Not going to say it. Not going to do it.
I just won't do that.
And I'm not going to do it. So literally I went to coaching for it and everything and the whole thing, and like went to Debbie's office and was like, I'm not going in. I'm not going in. I'm not going in. So they come out and they go, all right, so who's first? My brother goes and he does his thing. And they come out there, so you going in? And I was like, literally that moment was like, yeah, fine, I'll go. So I went in, did the read with Debbie.
Oh my God. Do you have a sense at this point, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
no,
that this is a Tom Hanks movie?
Yeah. So 13, you don't really like, do I contextually understand the legend of Paul Newman at the time.
Yes.
No, but I grew up with Big and Splash. Okay. So like I was very aware of who, and I was paying attention to movies and stuff. Like I liked the business and like what I was doing. So like I knew Jude Law was from Talented Mr. Ripley. I knew Sam Mendes had just done American Beauty.
Okay. So you had a sense this was a big deal.
I knew it was big. I knew it was a really big movie.
And still, even in your like, I can't say goddamn on screen. Like I just won't do that.
Honestly, probably helped me. Yes. Because instead of being this thing of like, I really want this, I really want this, I really want this, the whole thing was like, I'm not going. Yeah. And then like very last minute, it was like, fine, I'll go.
I'm here already.
Yeah.
I might as well.
There's a bit to be said about that. Even nowadays with casting and stuff. So like, there's things about that.
Oh, they can smell it when you want it too badly.
Yeah, 100%. And so I went in, did the read, we left, and then we hear that I'm on a short list. And it's like me, another guy in LA, a guy in New York, and a kid in Chicago. And so this goes on like through the holidays. My mom was like such a nervous wreck, and they kept calling and saying like, all right, the kid in New York is out. A little bit later, kid in Chicago's out. Then it's like, all right, it's two of you left. It's you and the other guy in LA.
I'm nervous hearing this story now, and I know how it ends.
It's crazy. And so I go in and I read with Sam, and it's just the two of us in the room. Just me and Sam.
Wow.
We do a couple of these scenes. He gives me some notes, play around with it a little bit. Come out of the room and he goes, he did a really great job, and then I'd like to use him in the movie.
I mean, so
like,
right there.
Spot. Never any other time has that happened. Never any other time.
Okay, that's amazing. And my supposition on this is they had narrowed it down. It was yours to lose at that point. And it was really a temp check of like, from Sam, the director, how is this kid to work with? Can he take feedback? What's his general vibe? All of that.
I'll do you one better. My agents lied. We're on set shooting, and the great Richard Zanuck and his son Dean Zanuck was fantastic. I mean, it was everybody on that set, which is, I can't say enough nice things about everybody from top to bottom, just amazing people. It's such an incredible experience. Dean Zanuck was awesome. And so he's talking to my mom, and my mom says like, I was just such a nervous wreck, you know, like the whole thing with like the other kids, and there weren't any other kids. And my mom goes, what?
Stop.
And he goes, oh no. He's like, Sam, as soon as he saw his tape, ran into the office and was like, I found a kid.
Yes.
He's like, as soon as he saw the tape,
it was chills.
His. And I was like,
and your mom will never get that stomach line back of that Christmas.
My mom said she talked to my agent about it, and my agent was like, we just wanted to keep him motivated. We didn't want to think he had it. So they lied to us for like months just to keep me motivated.
Oh, God.
Which, hey, I mean,
you know what?
Kudos to them.
I was just going to say,
I was playing baseball. I was a competitive kid. You know, probably not the worst thing.
No.
But yeah, it's pretty
funny.
And
then you have this incredible experience. I know you well enough to know how prepared you would have been even at age 13. Like whatever you're doing, you're going to do the best possible job you can do no matter what, always. Was that such an incredible just match with Tom Hanks?
Yeah. I think it'd be hard to work with people like that and not feel the effect of, like, I always use sports analogies.
Yeah.
Having like a quarterback that makes everyone better.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like, I think that's, it goes without saying that that's going to happen on a set like that with the legends and the professionals that those guys are and how good they are at their craft and stuff. But also you're right. Like, even though I was 13, there's a couple different things to this. So even though I was 13, I was playing baseball, and that was still my number one pursuit was baseball. Like that, and that held true all the way until I stopped when I was 21. So like that was always number one.
Yeah.
So at that time, you know, we're playing in these national tournaments. I was already in such a competitive field with baseball.
Yeah.
That it was like the idea of having to be at the top of your game was not like a new idea to me.
Totally.
And so that was always my mindset anyway.
Excellent.
So like for me, it was, So I was never going to show up on that set.
No.
Not being like, I'm going to kill it today. I'm going to kill it today. Like every single, and again, it was such a thing of like, I had a similar experience with Superman, which is like the confidence that I felt from Sam in what I was doing was such a freeing thing. And again, this is always my advice to young actors now. When they're like, what's your advice? I go, miss taking your shot. Like, don't go into a room guessing. Like, don't go into a room being like, I really feel strongly about this, but I think what they want to see is this, or my agent said what they're looking for is this. I'm like, I understand that. And there's something to be said about having, already going in, having an idea of what they want. But at the same time, I was like, just please don't guess. Because if you guess and you get it, guess what you're doing for the rest of the shoot? Guessing every day, because you're not going in with what you feel strongly about. You're and you accidentally got it right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
and then your foundation, you're questioning that the foundation is so not sturdy.
Yeah.
Which
you don't have a center then. You don't have.
Correct.
The thing is when you go in with your thing.
Yeah.
it's great because then when you get a note, you know how far that goes in what direction.
100%.
Because you know where you started. So that was what happened with Perdition, was like, I went in, I just did my thing. I felt so confident in like what I was doing in those scenes. And I felt all the moments, and I felt all the beats and the connections, and like, it just made sense to me, and in a weird way. And like having Sam there made that all the easier. So there was like just a built-in, and they treated me like that too. I would say that the great thing about them was like, there was no feeling like, all right, we got to make sure this kid keeps up. There was none of that. Like,
no,
not from Tom, not from Paul, not from Jude, not from Daniel, nobody. Everybody was just like, you're here for a reason. You're here to do a job. Yeah. We expect you to do the job. There was none of that.
It's an iconic performance, I have to say, because when people think about that movie, okay, that's the Tom Hanks movie, and that was Paul Newman's last performance, and also that kid is amazing. Whether they like remember your name or that it's you, because now you've had such a successful career as an adult.
Yeah.
I mean, there are moments in Road to Perdition, and then we will move on, I promise. This is not a Road to Perdition fan cast. However, go back and rewatch that. When you say to Tom Hanks, when your character says to him, you're asking if he liked your brother better. Mm-hmm. What you convey on your, again, little baby face, but what you convey, and again, at that age it is so powerful. And it is, you and Tom Hanks have this unspoken, like what you are doing just with glances. Yeah. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Congrats to you.
Thank you.
20-something years later, congrats to you. Okay, so then you, again, you have this experience that must have been sort of mind-blowing, but also you have such a good family. They keep you very grounded. Yeah. You continue on. You're going to school. You're playing baseball. You're really excelling at that. Are you acting when you can and when you can fit it in basically with your baseball career? Yeah. No, so there are actually a few like films that were supposed to go after that. It's always just funny the way like things shake out. But like the one I remember the most was there was a movie, they were going to do a Treasure Island remake. I believe, I had this correct, it was with William H. Macy and Jeffrey Wright. And I was super stoked to do that. And they scrapped it like right before we started shooting. So that didn't happen. But then, so I think we finished up, the movie came out. Right at the beginning of my freshman year of high school. Okay. I was playing baseball. And then I got offered a job on Seventh Heaven. Yep. Martin Brewer. I did my research. Martin Brewer. And so my baseball coach was like, he was under the assumption that like I wasn't going to be at the school anymore. Yeah. And so I had to go to him and say, like, he was a varsity coach. And I was really scared of him back then. He was a really, really tough coach. Yeah. One of my favorite people now. And I always credit him just as like such an influential person in my life. Yeah. But I was terrified of him at the time. And so I had to go into him and be like, hey, like, just so you know, like, I have no intention of stopping playing. Like, we're actively talking to, NCAA to make sure that I'll still be eligible to play college baseball after this. Yeah. Working with the producers, they said they'd be more than happy to be flexible as they can with practices and games and stuff. Yeah. And he was like, "Do you really want to play that bad?" Like, yeah. So we made it work. So like my sophomore year through my freshman year of college, actually, I did 4 seasons of Seventh Heaven, which some movies in between and things like that. 4 seasons of Seventh Heaven, additional work, baseball, and also school. Yeah. To the point where you also, where do you go to college? I went to Arizona State and UC Irvine. Okay. My freshman year of college in the fall was ridiculous. Weights are running in the morning pretty much every day. Then you had class. So that was like Tuesday through Friday. Okay. Then Saturday we had like a practice. And then same thing, weights and running like every day, all that kind of stuff. And then Sunday we had like a voluntary practice. Sure. So voluntary. Yep. I'll be there. But like if you don't show up, like maybe you're not on the team next week. Yeah, exactly. We all actually love the Sunday workouts. But Monday was my only day off from class and from baseball. Mm-hmm. Haley Duff, who I was working with at the time, was on Broadway. She was doing Hairspray. Her only day off was Monday. So Seventh Heaven made it work that they set up a stage and a set just for our stuff. I take the red eye to New York. If I remember this right, like legally they had to take me to the hotel first. Yeah. So we would like drive past the hotel, go straight to set, shoot all day, and then go back to the airport and then fly back to Tempe and then go to class Tuesday morning. Do it all over again. Do it all over again. So that was my freshman year of college in the fall. Which it's fascinating to me. Like I imagine as a 9-year-old, as a 13-year-old, you are super professional. Yeah. But talk about living not like a sort of dual life, but like having to be so really it's less professional, it's responsible.
Yeah.
Like that. And you are, it's funny, I was saying this to you downstairs as I was looking at the calendar, and like I was going to check in with you to confirm, and then you checked in with me first.
Yeah, right.
And you're always on time. And when we work together on Palm Springs, we'll get to that in a moment too.
Yeah.
But just, you are the consummate professional.
Thank you.
And to have been that way your entire career. And also, I was saying this to another guest, like, you'll sleep when you're dead. Like you just will power through what you need to power through.
Yes.
When you were in college and the acting is still really strong too, were you thinking of going professional for baseball? And
every day. It's all I wanted.
Still thinking
it's
about
all I
it.
wanted. Oh, it's still. If you came to me right now and said like you can win a World Series, you can win an Oscar, it's a World Series. Like every day. It's not even kind of close. Yeah.
So did you have to make a choice though at some point? I'm not going to pursue the big leagues, the majors.
Yes. My thing was I chose baseball over acting multiple times because I knew that could happen and I knew I could come back.
Right.
Baseball was once you go the other way, it's done. Like that's it. Because it's so competitive. Yeah. So I knew the acting thing was like, Sam Mendes told me that. Yep. I think Newman told me that. Like, you can do this forever, man. Like, if you love the baseball thing, do the baseball thing. And Sam actually said, like, I'll be honest with you, you might as well stick with baseball because you got nowhere to go but down from here. I remember that.
At
like,
least
he didn't want to be in a dick. It was just again, like everybody on that set in every department had like won an Oscar. It was just the most ridiculous set already. And like, that was before Daniel was James Bond and all these
everyone was wonderful.
And all these things. And Jude had done all the amazing things he's done since. Who I saw for the first time like 17 years the other day. For like
out of town.
Passing and something, but it was just so nice to see him.
Oh, that's so cool.
He was always such a nice he was the greatest dude. We used to go to like ESPN Zone and watch the Lakers and the Sixers in the finals, I think.
Oh, I love it.
With his parents, with his son Raph, who was like 4 at the time, I think. And I think there's a photo somewhere of like me and my brother playing foosball against Jude and his son. And it was just like, he's just
amazing.
Like, but like, again, just like the best people. But yeah, so I had taken baseball over acting multiple times. It was like my favorite like little funny story to tell. I told this on Rob Riggle's thing when we did the Big Slick thing in Kansas City.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And I was like, I hope I want to actually clear it up this time too. Like I said no to a meeting with Francis Ford Coppola one time.
Sure.
Not because I was like, no thanks, but because I literally couldn't get there. Like I was playing summer ball in Michigan and I couldn't make the meeting. So like I just madly respect Mr. Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh my God. There's not a lot of times you get an opportunity to meet with goddamn Francis Ford Coppola, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Summer ball, Michigan, like
I was like, dude, I'm on a bus with like 30 other guys. We're in the middle of nowhere. I was like, I don't
makes you more attractive. You know what I mean? Like that makes them want you more.
Yeah, exactly. I was playing hard to get.
Exactly. So then where is Teen Wolf in all of this? Because I want to say 2011 to 2017.
I want to say that started in like 2009 for me. It was before, this was when pilot season was still a thing. Before pilot season, MTV was casting Teen Wolf and went in, booked that, and then we ended up shooting like a presentation that MTV got to see, that we got to take to Comic-Con in San Diego, that everybody hated. They didn't hate it. They were going to hate it no matter what it was.
I was just going to say.
They were mad that we were taking the name Teen Wolf and doing something different with it. So we did that, and then we went and shot the first season. I want to say that was in 2010.
You then are gainfully employed.
Yeah.
And that also, I imagine, was helpful in the grieving of leaving this thing that had meant everything to you behind to some degree?
Maybe as a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Maybe as a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I think it covered it up. I think, because it honestly, I felt like it was actually harder for me. That was like the beginning of my 20s. And I feel like it was harder for me more like in my mid-20s.
This is what I mean when I say
it was a great Band-Aid. I was busy. I was doing the other thing that I knew how to do.
It's avoidance.
And all that thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I always find like, I don't know. I wish for the people that are like, sports or like make fun of, like, I was like, I just wish that there was a greater understanding of what it really represents.
Yeah.
Because it's not the game. It's not the game.
No.
I don't want to win the World Series. I want the trophy. To me, winning a World Series means a full season of grinding game in and game out with the same group of people that are working so hard and giving everything they have to make that possible, that is the end result, and then celebrating that success. So for me, when I stopped, because I got straight onto the show, I was busy and I was surrounded, and it was awesome. But I hadn't really figured out the whole identity thing yet. I'd still meet people. They're like, oh, like, so like, what do you do? I was like, oh, I'm just acting now. As opposed to like, I'm an actor. I was like, I'm just acting. I was like, but I used to play baseball. If you don't know that life of growing up like in a competitive sport, it's not just like a game that I played. My life was baseball. It's literally how I understood myself, understood my place in the world, understood my friends, like everything. So all of a sudden you go, oh, I'm not part of that anymore and I can't be in that world anymore.
Yes.
That's what it is. And so to finally have enough time in my mid-20s to actually kind of think about that,
to process
all
that.
of a sudden it was like, well, like I haven't seen most of my baseball buddies in years now, and they're off either in the minor leagues or some of them are getting called up in the big leagues, and they're all still living that life, and like they're still in the dugout and they're still in the locker room, and I'm seeing them on TV and they're chewing seeds or doing whatever and like joking around in the thing, and like I'm in LA waiting for the next audition. It's like, whoa, they're also just drastically different lives. Like going straight to a show was good because I was immediately team again, right?
Yes.
Surrounded by a team.
Totally.
But in your hiatus and when you're not on a set, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I never really fully realized it because I was playing baseball when I was doing this originally. This is can be such an individualistic pursuit.
100%.
Very isolating.
Yes.
Very lonely at times.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, wow. So that's when I finally had some time to sit with it and that.
Yeah.
Then I had time to think about all that stuff.
That's heavy.
That was rough.
Being an actor is enough of my entire identity is the success or failure or everything in between of a career, right? We always talk about in this business, like it's all external validation.
Yeah.
So you better make sure you are a good human being on the inside and have some good stuff in your life, because who the fuck knows, even if it's a good script, filmmaker, cast, etc. Who knows how it does? Who knows what happens, right? So if your internal sense of self is all determined by that external shit, you're fucked.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I think for me, what I kind of started to wrap my head around was like, there's a huge difference between reputation and identity. They're very easily confused.
Yes,
sometimes.
they are.
You know what I mean? So it's so for me, like with the identity thing, I'm like, my identity is literally who I am right now. One of my favorite Alan Watts things, it was like, told this like story of, I believe this guy goes to a monastery and goes to the monk. He's like, I want to find out who I am and I want to do these things and yada, yada. And the guy's like, well, who are you? He goes, well, my name's so-and-so. And I'm from, he's like, no, like, who are you? He's like, well, I work in this thing and I do this. He's like, nah, come in. We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
And like, they're sitting around one day and he's been there for a minute and they're like, the monk tells a joke and the guy laughs and he goes, aha, there you are. And that little story for me was such a huge thing where I was like, oh my God, that's such a great, I think the identity thing, it's funny. It's almost like we get so obsessed with like the labels on identity.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's funny. That's just a description though. Like it's not really who you are. Like you kind of have to show people who you are. Like you have to experience, like I can explain you to all of my friends, right? Yes, Becky's awesome. She's so funny. She's like all these different things, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to know you.
Totally.
They're not going to know you. I can write a dissertation on you.
Yeah.
They're not going to know you. They're just going to know a lot of facts about you and descriptions, and that's it. Until you experience somebody in interaction and stuff.
Yes.
To me, that's what that is. And I loved that little like parable. I was like, that was such a great way for me to wrap my head around that.
Incredible.
Like, that's awesome because so what you do will never be who you are.
Yeah.
It's just the thing you're doing right now.
And having that understanding, I think that makes you so adept at the ups and downs of this business, really.
Yeah, well, you have to be, right? Because
exactly.
if you're super busy, then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I, and then if you're not, you're like, oh my God, I, and it's like no,
totally,
no.
Nope.
Like you can still be you. Like all my friends, like doesn't matter if they're shooting every big studio movie in the world right now, or if they like haven't worked in 2 years. I'm like, homie, you're still you to me.
Exactly.
You're still the same guy. I like we all go through it. Like when things are good, you feel better, and when they're not, you don't. But it's nice to have come to that understanding. Yeah.
I'm going to jump to Everybody Wants Some real briefly before we get to Superman and Lois. And I have a question from the audience for you from that. Literally last night, Matt Smith was like, I need you to ask Tyler this about Superman. Everybody Wants Some, a movie. So Dazed and Confused, I mean, there's a Dazed and Confused poster there. I'm obsessed with Dazed and Confused. It's a top 10 for me. I was never looking forward to anything more. I fucking love that movie so deeply. But you have shared with me a little bit the experience of making it.
Yeah.
And how you guys are all still so close. I mean, Richard Linklater is such, I'll call him Rick. Rick is such a special filmmaker.
Yeah.
And what it sounds like is a little lightning in a bottle of an experience. Glenn Powell, Wyatt Russell, you, I could go on and on, but what you guys captured there, it was really funny also. Hold on. And then I will promise I'll stop talking. when we did Palm Springs together, I remember being a little nervous of like, what's this guy going to be like? Because you so embody McReynolds.
McReynolds, yes.
And holy shit, he is like, there's an energy to that character that is also so not what, I mean, again, I think anyone who has been listening or watching this has gotten enough of a sense of like, you are just the warmest person. McReynolds, not so much.
Not so much.
But has a lot of layers to him. And you still like, I remember feeling like, I still like this character though, even though like, fuck this guy. Like it's really hard to pull that off. So
thank you.
What was the experience going into Everybody Wants Some?
We had the good fortune of going to Rick's property out in Texas for 3 weeks of rehearsal.
Yeah.
And rehearsal like every day. It was like, it was the greatest camp of all time.
Yeah.
So he had this huge bunkhouse with like six sets of queen bed bunk beds.
Okay.
So we all stayed in this bunkhouse and start every day with breakfast, and we would have like we would have baseball practice, we would have dance rehearsals, we would have lunch, we would do a read through of the script, we would have dinner, we would do we'd go to his like little arcade room and we would play games, and then we'd go watch a movie and talk about the movie and like why it was important to what we were doing, things to pull away from it, yada, yada, yada. That was like our day for like 3 weeks. And we all, a lot of us had girlfriends and wives at the time that were like furious with it. Like they were happy, but also just kind of like,
but also
I was like, I'm so busy right now. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm bowling. It's like it's just was a ridiculous thing.
But we're bonding, guys. You understand.
Like, we're bonding. We're getting to know each other. But all that stuff came into play. I mean, like honestly, like there was a scene in the movie where it was me and Wyatt playing foosball against Glenn and Forrest Vickery, who played Coma.
Yes.
And and like that was taken from rehearsal because I'm trying to remember if that was like necessarily like in the script, but like just the way that it came to be, the dialogue and stuff that was kind of going on was because Wyatt and I would play against Glenn and Forrest and we got into some really heated competitions. And so like that just became like those are the things that unfolded from rehearsal and things like that,
which is probably
amazing
and partially why Linkletter was doing that, right? Like see what's, I mean,
also like I'll say this, one of the coolest things about that whole experience and I credit every single person in the cast for doing this. We would do the read throughs, and you know, some days we would just read through the whole thing, right? And Rick would kind of take notes.
Yeah. And
then other days he'd be like, all right, guys, you know, he would tell us like, well, when you go back to the bunkhouse tonight, like play with stuff, work on stuff. And then there were certain days where like Rick would be like, hey, today it's like kind of like a try me day, or like with this scene, I want to see what you guys kind of playing with.
Yeah.
And so we would go through that, and if it got the room and people loved it, it was in.
I love it.
So then we'd come back the next day with that in the script now, and we'd play around with it, and like so it became this evolving thing.
Yes.
The coolest thing about that, at least what I respected, again, coming from sports, coming from team first, you know, no I in team. Like,
yep, totally.
The coolest thing to me in that experience was like there would be a scene where there was a clear greatest joke of the scene. Like that's the best joke.
Yeah.
And never did anyone fight for it. We all fought to find the right place for it. But someone would be like, hey, I got to be honest, like, the person who had the line, be like, I don't think that's my line. I think that's Coma's line. I think that's so-and-so's line. And people be like, yeah. I think, because like if you go, and then we would like throw it around to be like, the dynamic, because the dynamic was evolving.
Yes.
Like, my character wasn't necessarily that guy. He was a dick.
Yes.
He was a total dick.
Sure.
He was the guy that like no one on the team wanted to hang out with. And I wasn't in some of the stuff originally that I ended up being in because of how this evolved. But what Justin Street was doing with Niles, he came in so hot with that character that for me, it made it very clear to me, because the first few reads through, I was like, I feel like I really knew where this guy fit. And now I'm kind of feeling like maybe I don't.
Yeah.
But then Justin kept going further with his thing, and I was like, oh, that's who he is. I get it. Okay, now I understand the dynamic, because, again, I mean, college baseball, I knew those dynamics very well.
Very much so.
If there's a guy on the team like that, there has to be a guy on the team like this, or the team doesn't work.
Correct.
So then I kind of found the place for McReynolds. I was like, everybody hates him, but they love to hate him because he's still their guy.
Yes.
So I was like,
totally.
so he can be a dick and he can talk shit to the freshmen and make them feel like the smallest person on earth.
Yes.
But you better bet that like on the field, he's going to stick up for that guy because he's on his team and he wants to win.
Yes.
So
no,
I saw that,
still root for him, which is, again, I think a testament to your performance. But also what you have described is the most collaborative, satisfying, gratifying artistic experience. And I just love how close you guys all still are.
But yeah, it was such the most collaborative experience. And I've had other good ones. Like Superman and Lois was also incredibly collaborative and they were fantastic. I can't say enough about my showrunners there. It's just, they were fantastic. So, but that experience just top to bottom, because films are different too. Like, it's a snippet of time.
And for anyone who hasn't seen that movie, go watch For Your Hair Alone.
Thank you.
Just your hair and the shorts.
The stash and the shorts. Oh, yeah. So the crop top. So all of it.
Okay. I'm going to segue to Superman and Lois, but I'm going to pause real quick just to say. So we met after you'd done Everybody Wants Some. We were putting together Palm Springs.
You don't have to skip over this movie. Don't you dare skip over this movie.
Exactly. The one that the poster's right behind you. And I'll just say real quick. No. Because really, that experience of making that movie with you. Yeah. And also, that's really what our friendship was born out of. We also had that really special Sundance experience together. Yes. But I remember being on the phone with your agent when we were trying to figure out who was going to play Abe. And I'm like, Tyler Hoechlin, do you think he'd do it? Like, I was like, I don't think he'd even consider it. Because it was like, 4 days. Smaller part. You're an integral part, but it's smaller. It was 4 days of work because we were making this in 21 and a half days. So all the wedding stuff we shot in 4 days. Yeah. I just still am like, did everyone hear that? It was fucking impossible, but we did it. Insane. Okay. So I was like, do you think he would? So we were so excited. Again, I had that like little beat of like, what if he's a fucking asshole? Yeah, like he's still going to be great in this part. I have no doubt. But like him, and we just lucked out. And even the little like Meredith Hagner, who's married to Wyatt Russell. And so you guys knew each other a little bit. Yeah. Every single actor and member of the crew of that movie was so incredible. And it was just such a great vibe. So you were amazing to work with.
Thank you.
Is that a fork in my face? Like that is one of my favorite parts. Everyone go back and rewatch Palm Springs.
By the way, props to our makeup artist for that because that was such a crazy high pressure situation. We had like very little to no time.
We had like 11 seconds to get that.
And she crushed that.
She was amazing.
Getting that done, it was
I remember being so nervous. Yes, Galaxy San Juan, she is the greatest. Yes.
Amazing.
But you are, it is a nuanced part, and I will not give anything away, but just to say it is far from one note. And sometimes in a movie where the two stars and like there's also a bride and groom in it, like it can be kind of one note. I mean, again, kudos to Andy Serra for writing something really layered, but you had a lot of different things to do in that movie and you're so good in it.
Thank you. I also had like no time to process that. I show up for the first day of work and Andy comes to the trailer. He's like, hey man, thanks for coming. Have a little chat. It was really nice. He's like, hey, so we were thinking about something. And Andy goes, we really couldn't wrap our head around, how things play out, that you would kind of be this guy. So we're thinking it's more of like a this situation. And I was like, oh, that is so wildly different.
So different.
And given not really knowing the tone here yet, I don't know how far to push this.
Like that. And we're obviously talking around it a little bit as to not give anything away, but like, your choices were perfect, and it could have been so broad.
Disastrous. It could have been disastrous.
It really could have.
But I remember going and saying like, hey, like, I don't know exactly how far in what direction you guys are going yet. So I'm just going to go like all the way. And then you tell me
recalibrate
how far. But I'm pretty sure I like was slapping myself in the face on the first one. Like, I mean, it was...
But again, you gave a lot of options.
We did. We gave options. We gave options, and we went. And I was like, okay, here we go.
Tyler Hoechlin, consummate professional. I'll just say it again. But my God.
I have to say, and this is not because you're in the room, but if anything I've done in my entire career, one of the things I am absolutely the most proud to be a part of is that movie. And I actually like that I have like a smaller part in it because it's easier then for me to kind of gush over it.
Totally.
I love that movie. I love the movie. I read the script. I cannot tell you that there is even a handful of scripts that I've read where I was so excited about what I had just finished when I got done.
Yeah.
And when I read that script, I loved it. And I thought what you guys did to turn it into what it became was amazing. And I just like, I'm a very existential person.
Yes.
And so like, I loved what that movie had to say. I just thought it was so awesome. It was so fun. And like Andy and Kristen were amazing in it. And it just like, you're along for every moment. It's great. I'm not going to plug anything else in this whole thing, but if you haven't seen that movie, please watch it. Like, it was one of my favorite things to be a part of. Everyone was great.
It was so great. You and Cami Mendes as the bride and groom together. Yeah. I mean, I thank you for saying that. And I couldn't agree more. And then we go to Sundance and we have such an incredible experience there.
Sundance was awesome. I had always said, like, I'm not going to Sundance until I have something there.
Yep.
And I could not have been more stoked that it was for that movie.
It was.
I think breaking the sales record was a pretty successful trip.
Big deal.
It was pretty good.
So then, right after, so we're in Sundance together, January 2020. What it turns out was the first super spreader event of COVID, but we didn't know it at the time, right? So then are you starting Superman and Lois yet?
From Sundance, I was supposed to have a tiny little break, and then we were going to go shoot the pilot. And from what I remember, we were shooting a pilot as like a formality and just to kind of like to have it and to show what it's going to be. But we were, I think, already greenlit for series.
It's such a huge title. It's not like, maybe we'll try Superman.
Yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure it was still like it was like a straight to series thing. So we were going to shoot the pilot and then, recalibrate, look at what the pilot was, take our notes, do the thing, and then go finish the season. COVID happened. So we shut down everything. And then eventually got a notice of like, hey, we're just going to greenlight this as soon as we can. And we're just going to go shoot the whole first season. We're not going to do like a pilot, take a break, go back. We're just going to shoot.
Okay.
Timing wise, this worked out fortuitously for me with how we ended up then doing our seasons, which was really kind of like a silver lining, if you can say that in that whole situation. But we ended up starting in September of 2020. And we were supposed to be there for 8 months. We were there for 10 and a half.
And I know you loved Bitsy, who played Lois, and you had such a good thing with the show, and you had great showrunners and like the whole thing. Yeah. But still.
Season 1 was rough. Like I grew up in the business. I'm great at being on my own.
Totally.
I'm on location. I've done it a million times. Not that hard.
Yeah.
Being in a foreign country, which literally once you cross the border, you may as well have been on the moon.
Yes.
Because you could not leave and people could not come up.
Totally.
Being that separated and that isolated, and then it's kind of one of those things, like when you feel alone in a room and you're surrounded by people, it feels like extra lonely.
Yes.
There was a lot of that to it too, because even though we were on set and even though we were working, it was like, but don't get close. And then I remember the day that like the first day that it sunk in for me of like, oh, this is gonna be tough was Thanksgiving. Because it was a green screen day where it was just me flying around on set all day. So Thanksgiving, I remember my family FaceTiming me, and it was that thing where I was like, it's worse. Yeah. It's worse.
It's actually worse.
Actually being on the phone with you guys doing this than it is to just sit here and throw my music back on and just be where I'm at right now.
Totally.
And this will lead into an answer later, but like, so like that was like Peaky Blinders was huge for me during that shoot. Because I connected with Tommy Shelby so hard during that first season, and I was like, "It's my guy. It's my guy. He's just alone going through his thing, and like that was
this resonates hard, guys.
So that was that experience. Even given all that, so lucky that the people I did that with was the cast and the crew that I had. Just like I've been insanely lucky. Like you talk to enough people in the business, people do have horror stories. It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
Sure.
There are also a lot of great stories.
Yeah.
I feel lucky in the sense of like, I feel like I've had multiple tremendous stories.
Yes,
like
you have.
Palm Springs was great.
Yeah.
Perdition was great. Teen Wolf was great. The people I got to work with.
Yeah. Everybody wants
Heaven, I had great people. Everybody like
yes.
And all that said, that Superman and Lois set was still like just everybody was great. A crew was absolutely stellar. The stuff they did in season 1, no one complained. That set was such a well-functioning set for what they had to deal with going through all that.
It's amazing.
I remember in 4 seasons we had one time where like a crew member raised their voice. It was someone who was like just in for the day.
Yeah.
And everybody was like,
no, we don't do it that way here, bro.
No, we don't. That's not the vibe here. Like we don't do that.
You will not be here tomorrow.
We don't do that. But it was just like the greatest,
I love it.
amazing cast.
I have said this to you many times. This is also like your karma. Like I truly like.
I hope so, yeah.
And I think on a number one in the call sheet way, like you you lead by example. I think this is again, your baseball foundations and the teamwork and there's no I in team.
Yeah.
What is for the greater good?
Yeah.
The everybody wants some story of, I don't know if that feels like my line, even though it's going to get it's going to kill.
Yeah. I just to go back to where we started, like I had great examples. I had great examples.
I'm going to go with you the two greatest examples you could ever have.
To see Tom Hanks and Paul Newman, to see them just be like the nicest guys, always on time, always knew their stuff, always working harder or as hard as anybody else. Treated every person on the set, crew, my family, people visiting, whatever, treated them like they were the financier. To see that at a young age, I'm always grateful for that because I was like, all right, so there's no any of the stuff you hear about happening in town and that you experience with other people. I'm like, you bet. No excuse.
It's so
There's
true.
no excuse. You never deserve to act this way. You've never earned no.
I love it.
No.
I love it.
So I had that at a very, very young age. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get to last looks, here is the final question from your biggest fan, Matt Smith. He was last night as I'm like preparing for this, he was like, okay, I need you to ask Tyler, what does it mean to him to have played Superman? Because I think as a fan, it means so much to the fans. What does it mean to play this character who is so iconic, who is so good, who there is just a complexity and the role has been done many times and also this is singular for you.
Yeah.
What is that like?
I feel like I kind of just set it up this way. So like, because otherwise it won't make sense. It wasn't a dream character of mine. And not because I had anything against the character. I love the character, but I didn't grow up with the character. So this just wasn't on my radar. So when it came up, originally it was just going to be 2 episodes. And so because of that, I was like, I didn't think about any of that. I was like, it's gonna be 2 episodes and then I'll be off and like check it off the list. I did it. That was cool. I played Superman. That's awesome. And then it turned into 4 episodes and then it turned into 7. And then all of a sudden there was a real conversation about maybe there's a show.
Yeah.
And so I was already deep enough into it at that point that I was comfortable with it, that again, like these questions didn't necessarily present themselves. So I say that to say that like that's only really something that's kind of hitting me now that I'm done.
Oh, that's
because cool. I watched did you see the Christopher Reeve documentary?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I fell apart.
It was fantastic.
It's incredible.
Which is amazing.
What a testament.
Guy. But there was a thing where after his accident, I think he had done a speech somewhere, given a speech, and he was going back through the back way to get taken out. And there were all these people that were like, you're like, you'll always be my Superman. You'll always be my Superman. Like all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That hit me because I didn't watch that until after we were done with the show. And then that hit me a little bit because like, I'll have people say that to me now, like, hey, you're always going to be my Superman. And I was like, oh, wow, that's the thing I never thought about. It was an amazing honor and privilege to be trusted with that character that I know means so much to so many people, and like rightfully so. I love what that character stands for.
Yeah.
And it was like such a joy to play it for the 8 years that I did it, which is crazy. But now it means something different.
That is such a special, really like a gift, I think, as an actor that you get to embody that for a time. You kind of
nailed it with like what it means to me and what it means to other people.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've always kept really separate, which is like, for me, it's just really, it's really simple. It's been a really great honor and privilege to do it. And I really appreciate like the opportunity to, walk in those boots for a minute. But I appreciate more the things that I hear from other people of what that character means to them, whether it's my version or not. I think it's just it's a very cool thing to be a part of.
So great. So great. Yeah. Okay. This brings us to last looks.
Okay.
Tyler Hoechlin, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Okay. I'm going to give the reason for this first.
Love it.
I feel, personally for me, when I think of like, what is my favorite movie? I think most people's favorite movie is like 21 years old, right? It's because you're not picking it apart. Yeah, you're not like,
100%.
Favorite movie. My favorite movie is the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, how old were you when you saw it?
I was 16.
Yes.
And I thought Jack Sparrow was the coolest character of all time.
Yeah.
And there's an added thing to this. I had a general meeting with a guy at Disney, and there was a poster on the wall. And I was like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean, I can't wait to see that. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll see how that goes. And
yes, they thought it was going to be a
they
disaster.
thought it was going to bomb. It was going to be the worst movie ever. And I heard all the stories later, but at the time I didn't know. I was like, they must hate this movie. Wow. So then the movie comes out and I see Jack Sparrow. And I thought it was the young actor. I thought that was the coolest character I had ever seen. So unexpected.
Oh.
No, people would have done different things. No one would have done that.
Never.
No one would have done that.
No.
And I just thought, like, being a young actor at the time, I was so inspired by someone doing something that was just so unexpected.
Totally.
But I always say that's my favorite movie. And
I
then
love it.
There's two others that come up a little bit later on, like Dark Knight, just because again, I'm a big performance guy.
Yes.
So Heath Ledger in that movie, and I'm a huge Christian Bale fan.
Yes.
I love that one. But
It's
then I also love
movie.
it's perfect.
Wait, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
You also love
Midnight in Paris.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's so
my taste is like all over the place.
You can
it's all over the place. Yeah.
And I won't take you down the rabbit hole of your connection to Paris right now, but I
love that city.
Okay. You are stranded on a deserted island, not in the way that your friend Tom Hanks was in Castaway. It's not for years and years, but you're there like for a bit. And so what are the two albums that you have with you?
There's an artist called Grizz.
Okay.
You know Grizz?
No.
But he's fantastic. And there's an album called Chasing the Golden Hour, Part 4. The music spans, I mean, even just in the album, there's like a couple different vibe changes to it. But the music overall that Grizz does is just like, it's there's some dubstep. There's also like some super chill, like he plays the saxophone when he plays live sometimes. It just feels like you're on a chill drive.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere with no one around and you have nowhere you have to be kind of thing.
Ugh,
feels like that sometimes.
Wonderful.
So I love that album. And then, and the first Led Zeppelin album.
These are such good answers.
The honorary mention is like probably like a Dave Matthews live one, either like Chicago, I think in '98, or like Central Park, one of those two. Just to get the crowd, you have like a little sense of community there with you, like one of those.
Talk about a vibe. I love that. You are an avid reader, so I'm excited to hear what this is. Book. Yes. Either your favorite book of all time or a book you've read recently that you really loved and would recommend.
So I'm gonna say, my favorite book of all time is for a very specific reason. I honestly kind of hated reading just because as a kid, I was reading my school books and I was reading scripts all the time.
Yep.
So reading was not a break for me. Like reading was
it was a chore.
This is all I'm doing all the time. So it wasn't like an escape or anything. So like I never got into like the Harry Potter books or like anything like that. But I was playing summer ball in Michigan. And
sorry, Coppola.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did get to meet him later, which was actually, I was like, I'm so glad this actually happened. But I was playing summer ball and I remember that the people were talking about the Da Vinci Code. So I read the Da Vinci Code. It's the first book I remember reading where like college guys be like, hey, we're going out and have some beers, whatever. Like, you want to come? And I was like, no.
I need to know what Remy Leloudeck is going to do now.
I'm for sure finishing this chapter and probably 5 more.
Yes.
Like, I have no chance I'm going out today.
Robert Langdon sends his best. Goodbye.
The first book that got me to be like, reading is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
The first one that did that.
I love it.
That was super cool.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
What is either your favorite TV show of all time or a show you've watched recently and would recommend?
Well, again, I'm going to give honorable mention because I know you love this one so much. Friends.
I mean, there's my Central Perk handle.
That's so good. I love that show.
I'm so glad you said that.
Oh, it's you have to give it.
There's my mug over there.
Oh my God.
With Rachel on top of Ross, where he's like, when were you under me? Should have given you that.
Such a good.
So good.
Just I love that show. I was very much growing up during that show, and I just
totally
thought it was great.
It's
perfect. But I say my favorite show. There's a couple that are like neck and neck, but for the reason we talked about earlier, Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
Peaky Blinders. I love that period.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that period. And then I just had this crazy experience with it, like while we were shooting the show and being up in Vancouver.
Yes.
That was my go-to show.
Yes.
Just because I felt a certain sense of peace being in that world.
I feel you.
And then beyond that, Cillian Murphy is just phenomenal. And like,
forget it.
He's incredible in I think anything he does.
Yeah.
And then there's roles that people are just like,
transcend.
That was so meant to be you.
Yes.
Tommy Shelby, just one of my favorite characters of all time. And then seeing him and Tom Hardy play off each other. I love that show for so many different reasons, but like I reference that show at work for certain things. Just because I think like what they did, the beauty in the subtlety of a lot of things that were done on that show was just like second to none. And I loved the confidence to sit in the scene.
Yeah.
I love the confidence of like, we got a cool, fun transition. We play some rock music for a second, but then get your wide shot, and then just boom, boom.
The confidence. It's so true.
The performances were
so
insanely good. The writing was brilliant. Like, it was just like, that's my show.
Buddy, this was so fun, as I knew it would be. And I was thank you for indulging my deep Road to Perdition dive and all of the things. But this is, I mean, so fun.
So
You're
fun.
the best.
And again, I'm so stoked for you. Like, this is awesome, and keep going. I love this.
I never know how to end this, so I'm just going to get up and give you a hug. Thank you. This was awesome. General Meeting with Becky Sloviter is hosted and executive produced by me, Becky Sloviter. Our editor is Jay Rothman. Our audio engineer is Hector Fernandez. Our director of photography is Dylan Mortensen. Our tech producer is Griffin Davis. And our theme music is by Jay Rothman. If you're enjoying this podcast, I would be so appreciative if you would subscribe or follow it, or whatever the correct wording would be. All of our episodes are on video as well, so please visit our YouTube channel, if you dare, at General Meeting Pod. You can also follow us on Instagram at General Meeting Pod, or TikTok at General Meeting Pod, or get more info on our website, generalmeetingpod.com. Thank you, and most importantly, go Birds.